everybody, welcome to this episode of Monday Night with Midgard's Well. Today we're doing modernization and why we feel it's important, so feel free to join in the comments section while we rant and rave and talk about everything we love.
Yeah.
This would be a part of our roundtable subgenre as well. So we will be talking a bit mostly amongst ourselves, sharing ideas, which then, of course, as the usual roundtable discussion stuff, that means we need your opinions. So please make sure to comment.
Because your opinions allow us to do follow-up videos discussing your opinions. Mm-hmm. And that'll eventually let us do a live video where you can actually discuss your opinions with us in real time. We just need more followers and more people who actually seem to give a crap.
So don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, smash that notification bell, make sure you know every time we post a new episode.
Okay, so what do we mean by modernization? Typically, and this is going to be like the only time I talk to a camera, a lot of people, especially Reconstructionalist heathens, they feel very adamantly that we have to do things the old way. We have to wear old garb in our ceremonies. We have to do everything the way our ancestors would have. Here at Midgard's Well, we don't necessarily believe that. While we do strive to go the old way when we do ceremonies, or in general, like Chris and I, we love wearing the old garb because it just is so comfortable.
It's home.
But it doesn't necessarily mean that's what we do for the sake of doing it. We just like doing it. Modernization, we feel as a group that you can't tell us that our ancestors wouldn't have been like, oh, we can go to McDonald's?
Yeah.
We don't have to cook tonight?
Well, as me and you were talking about a few weeks ago when we were doing the sparring and stuff, you wore jeans under your tunic and it looked nice.
Yeah.
And of course, if our ancestors had twill and denim, oh, they would have worn them. They would have worn that so much.
Right.
It's comfortable, it's durable.
Yeah.
More durable than 100% cotton. 100%
Exactly.
cotton, you catch that shit just right.
Yeah. As the pants that Brian was originally wearing did.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
And that's, again, with modernization, that's using modern day sewing techniques.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
The old school sewing techniques they had was just in one, loop in the other, in one, loop in the other. It was just, okay, do that until it no longer wants to separate.
Yep.
The modernization comes with a lot of things, though, not just like clothing.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
also the simple fact of, like, I have broken horses before. I grew up on a mule ranch. That does not mean I want to ride a fucking horse everywhere.
Right.
That shit hurts your entire everything.
You ever run for a long time on a horse? Your insides feel like they've just went through.
Right.
Yeah.
And not to mention Scandinavian horses are like 5 feet tall and like 12 feet wide. They are not meant to ride long distance. Also, another with modernization is how we modify our clothing with sewing machines. Again, work smart, not hard.
Right.
Our ancestors built ships that could go over the ocean and in thin, shallow lakes and rivers because they needed a all-purpose boat. Mm-hmm. They knew exactly what they were doing. They were like, no, there's no reason for us to sail a boat to go then make another boat. Yeah. Why don't we just make one boat that can do all the sailing for us?
Right.
Well, and think about how long it took them to make them by hand.
Yeah.
An entire fleet. Now, obviously, fleets were a lot smaller than what TV portrays.
Yes.
But still, 5-6 boats, that had to have taken years.
Right. And you had to find the perfect wood for it. But, I mean, nowadays, if again, bring one of our ancestors here, give them a fucking buzzsaw and a lumber yard, look at the shit they would make.
Oh, yeah.
We can also talk about the modernization of how women is portrayed.
Yeah.
Good.
Yep.
Well, it's a simple thing of more rights does not equal improper, like, alignment between the sexes. In the old-fashioned medieval world, it does get over-romanticized. Yes, Norse women had more rights, they could divorce their husband, but, like, the reasons to divorce your husband because he's beating you a lot were not as good as they are today. Like, today, if you hit a fucking woman, which is still something I agree on, if you want to start beating on women, then I'm going to beat on you.
Right.
But back in the day, if, you know, quit burning the stew, slap, 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 slap. Well, that's not a good reason nowadays. So we have advanced in a sense where there is more equality, and that is something that we should, of course, keep. Now, I know many women many, not even heathen women. I know some complete atheists that are totally like, no, I want to be barefoot parading in the kitchen. I love being stay-at-home mom, just doing my stuff. Yeah. But there are also a lot of women, and especially like the few shield maidens and the queens that we found in old digs, that are much more like, I'm gonna do what I want, and y'all can either tag along or go away.
Right.
And that's how that works.
Yeah.
Our rights, as just basic human rights too, the ability to, like we were talking about with land, they've changed a lot. Now, there's only maybe I think one state that still allows dueling, but they don't. You kill somebody, you kill someone, you go to prison.
Right. Exactly. So Hong Kong is no longer a thing.
Right. And we were talking about how the fact of you don't really get their land.
Yeah.
If I killed George 3 blocks down for his huge farm, the bank and the government take the farm, and then they auction it off to the person who wants to be the highest bidder.
And you go to jail.
Right, and you go to jail for murder. Period.
Unless he owned it, then it would go to whichever kid he left it to.
Yeah.
You know.
And I don't think that kid's gonna at all give it to the guy who murdered his dad. Speaking of with weapons, though, I mean, give a fucking Viking some 1060 spring steel. Oh man, they'd be in heaven with that. They would have a heyday.
Or that's the gun.
Oh, dude, a gun?
Yeah.
You're afraid of it? They'd be the first time they fired it off. They'll,
This is so cool!
Thor in here?
Boom! Boom!
That'd be like that scene from Thor Ragnarok where the guy from Lord of the Rings is like, look at what I got from Texas.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like so proud of them, and there was babies and everything.
A couple of M16s.
Yes.
And then he found out that his 2 magic clips that held apparently like 150 piece did finally run out.
And they make great clubs.
Right?
Yep.
I feel like that would be accurate of our ancestors if they got in a time machine and came to today.
Or for all we know, they could be like, okay, this makes it too easy, guys.
Right?
Like, you shouldn't be able to just
Where's
point
the fun?
Just point and pull. Like, babies can do that.
They like look at it and go, toss it over their shoulder.
And then it goes off and hits them in the back.
That's Obi-Wan when he killed Grievous, throw the gun to the ground, how uncivilized.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, in the thing of modernization, making pendants and runes, using Dremels, wood burners, buzz saws, like, there's no reason not to. Yes, like I have made runes where I've hand sawn them, but I still use acrylic paint because making your own paint takes fucking
in the
time.
ass. I've done wood carving with actual like hardcore old school wood chisels, and I about took my thumb off twice, like to the bone. Take my thumb off, and so I mean, and I'm good at what I do, so it's just like, what the hell, man? But that's why Dremels are more necessary, because it's not like I can take off an entire freaking finger with it.
Right.
I mean, I could if I really tried.
Well, I've super hardcore burned myself with a wood burner before, but
Right? Like, I did too, and the scar went away. I didn't even know, because it was on a really, really hot setting. I didn't even know I was burning myself until I smelled pork, and I was like, where's that? Oh.
Mine was a little bit, mine was the second I heard the tss noise, I was like, oh, that was my flesh.
Yep, didn't even make a sound, didn't feel anything.
Really? Yeah, mine made the sound, I didn't smell or feel anything, because when it's that hot, your nerve endings are being like, okay, bye.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well,
And, I mean, oh my god, the things they would do with that, be like, I'm gonna use this on people.
Well,
Give an ancestor a wood burner, they'd be like, hey, we got the blood eagles, what if I just doodle on them for like an hour?
well, the quality of houses they could build. You
Oh.
know, they would have to make these, you know, like the mud houses that they would build.
All those earthen homes.
Yeah,
And,
now you can just throw Pink Panther insulation in the walls and you're good.
right, and you wouldn't have to have the fucking farm animals next door, modern day barns and stuff.
Yep.
They would, I'm sure they would love the ability to not have to sleep next to pigs.
Absolutely. Now, sheep, they could probably keep you warm in the wintertime with all that wool.
Oh, dude. And they're dumb enough, they'll lay right on top of you. You don't give a fuck. The only problem is you gotta watch out because they might stay there and then suffocate your ass because
Right.
they're stupid.
Well, and then on
Turn
that
off with a
note,
cow.
air conditioning and central heating.
Oh.
Dude.
Especially living in fucking, like, going into an ice age because the medieval era to the Renaissance era was an ice age.
Right.
That means, like, our ancestors during the Viking period, it was warmer in Norway but it was going into a point where it had to be, like, in the 20s almost all year round.
Yeah.
If not, and of course during winter, we're talking frigid cold. Give that motherfucker a space heater.
Right.
A house with a furnace. You mean my butt can be cool or warm when I'm in the bathroom on a winter morning? Hell yeah!
Wait, bathrooms are inside the house now?
Yeah, there's another one. Plumbing.
Yeah.
Which is also crazy because the Romans had that, but it just took it to another place and it's still piled up somewhere.
Right.
They also had a rag on a stick too.
Right.
And
We've come a long way.
Yeah, the communal ass wiper.
At least in the medieval, like, England, they used some hay they just, like, ground up in their hand. And
Right.
that's still one of those things, like, you've never... Alright,
If you're
little
desperate.
fun fact. No, a lot of people from the Arabic and Middle East states, they go to shake your hand with their left hand. Don't. That's their wiping hand. And they don't use paper. But throughout most of ancient Europe and places, that's what it was. The reason you also didn't see anyone using their left hand is because that was a dirty ass hand. Because you would wipe your butt with it and then wash all the stuff off.
If you even wash the stuff off.
If you even wash the stuff off.
I did not
Because
know
if you're going
that.
to go take a big old dump and then go out to the garden, hey, extra fertilizer.
Right.
That's right.
I just thought everyone used a leaf
Nope.
or cloth.
I don't know. Your hand's much easier at getting the stuff out of the crevices.
Or a corn cob.
And then all of a sudden you're serving corn cob.
Yep.
Oh.
Freshly squeezed.
You just finish wiping your ass and you forget about it, you gotta pick your nose.
Yeah.
Or like, I remember eating corn.
But it wouldn't really matter back then because everything smelled like feces anyway.
Right. Now something that I want to talk on is the
Ew, more
use...
feces.
No more feces. Dead animals.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The use of animals in bloats. A lot of bloats these days are just... They're not blood offerings. They're just food offerings because... it freaks out a lot of people to sacrifice an animal.
Right.
Sacrificing an animal takes a lot of time and skill.
A lot of pagans are
And-
vegetarians. Whatever, that's their prerogative.
Right. Like, we don't judge. Just don't be an ass to us about it. So a lot of people... And then there's the whole bloat versus sumble thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not worth the argument. But,
Well, I think the bloat versus symbol thing is a lot like modern day how people fight about what a sword is called. Back in the day, they didn't have classifications for every fucking thing like we
Right.
do nowadays. But we've got so much time on our hands because we've modernized to a point where we can grow chickens in a factory
Right.
that we don't have to fight and constantly war with each other over resources. Besides oil. But...
that's different.
Yeah, they didn't know. If they knew it again, if the ancestors knew what oil was, they're like, "Oh, we're gonna pour this all over trenches, and I'm gonna light some people on fire."
But
It'd go much quicker than pitch.
Yeah.
I feel like what a lot of Reconstructionists run into is law of the land issues.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like if we went to a public park and sacrificed a whole cow
Right.
right in the public park, we'd be going to jail.
There's some issues with that. Yeah. There are modern day laws that do not allow that kind of stuff. Now there are parks you can go to.
Well, yeah, there's
that
places. There's
they
designated
understand.
places.
There-
Unless the cow is your pet.
You still can't openly kill it.
Yeah.
You cannot. If you go to PetSmart to like buy a bunny rabbit, if you then later sacrifice the bunny rabbit, it's against the law.
You have
Yep.
to buy, if you're sacrificing animals, you have to buy animals that are raised to be food.
Yep.
If they're considered pets, they have rights and you commit murder. Or animal abuse.
That's why you get, instead of getting Bessie, you get cow 6427-3.
Yep. And you cut that motherfucker's throat. Because it was going to happen anyway. Or like for my wedding, we had the 2 hogs.
Mm-hmm.
That dude raised those hogs to be sold as food. But that's another thing to watch out for. Like, if you feel the need to, if you want to do a blow and you're just not comfortable with using a knife, shoot it in the head. Just be warned because things don't immediately die when you shoot them in the head.
Right.
Pig's flail.
Oh, yeah.
You have to have 2 pretty decent sized people to lay across them to get them to stop.
Mhm.
Or until they stop.
Yeah, you pretty much just let them spaz out until they're
Yeah.
gone. And that's the thing. Again, we understand that the people back in the day, they didn't understand that, yes, when they slit that horse's throat or that cow's throat, it was alive for a little bit after that.
And that stuff sprays.
Mm-hmm. We understood, though, that nowadays we have the ability to use modern day, like that little like air gun thing they
The
use.
bolt gun.
The bolt. Why not? If you have the yeah, and it scrambles the brains with all the air pressure behind it. it works out better that way because then the animal actually immediately goes out and doesn't have to suffer from a horrible amount of pain.
And the size of the bolt compared to a bullet, I mean, you can shoot a pig in the head and just ruin its day. Not kill it, just ruin its day. I've seen that happen a few times where the bullet just doesn't go where it needs to go to drop it. It just kind of jumbles around.
And now you have a shot pig.
You have a pig that walks in circles for the rest of its life.
Right. Now, if you apply this to, like, general ceremonies, like, a lot of Reconstructionists, they do, I don't know. I've never honestly been to a Reconstructionist bloat, but I feel like either people try too hard, so they'll do it in Old Norse, which, if you're doing it in Old Norse, then no one can call you out for fucking up, because no one else knows what the hell you're saying. For all we know, you just offered all of us up.
Right.
That makes me uncomfortable. But, like, modernizing our ceremonies in general, like, with us, ours get kind of theatric, but in a good way.
Yeah.
Like, I really like
the
ours.
most Reconstructional one I went to was with the Ida Plainsmen.
Right.
And yes, they did a lot of the ceremony in Norse, but also in English. But everyone was running around still wearing jeans and a jacket and stuff. Because they wanted us to be comfortable, because it's fucking comfortable. And yeah, they killed the pig and put the blood, they drained the pig a bit, they put the blood runes on people and stuff, and it was a great time. But we're still standing around a barbecue grill with charcoal, and we hoisted the pig up on a motor rig because it's just fucking easier.
Yeah.
And I mean, embracing modern aspects in our culture and society in general is what should be honestly looked at, because I feel like too many people are stuck in the we have to be old school Norse people, we have to be Vikings, we have to embody this stereotype, we've got to go live off the land only, do everything by hand. And I'm sitting over here like, but why?
Right. It's amazing for festivals and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, if you want to learn how to do things the old way, fucking do it. I love old-fashioned carvings and making statues and more or less old school combat for me. Or hell, learn how to write good kennings and write poetry the old-fashioned skaldic way.
Yeah. But I don't know. Yeah, just basically embracing the modern is the whole point of this video, and how our ancestors would have been super stoked about a lot of what we have access to.
They would have ruled the world.
They would have evolved so much because, I mean, with modern day, they were traders.
Yeah.
They were one of the most culturally diverse people because they had met so many other cultures. And that's a part of it. They modernized. The only reason we have the Ulfberht steel, or that the Viking artists used such amazing weapons, is because they took crucibles from India, brought them back to Norway, and then just by pure accident started throwing bones in, creating more carbon into the blade. But they modernized. They knew that these crucibles that can melt things down better than any forge could from India and Pakistan were just superior. So they realized, oh, this is the superior technology, let's use it. And that's been the history of mankind. That's what we've been doing anyway.
Yeah.
It's just that exact sect of people died off in about the 1000s and the 10th to 11th century. Yeah.
Because it's like, without the Norse influence being like, hey guys, here's some cool shit, check it out.
Right.
And then society growing, society became stagnant, and then the bubonic plague, you know.
Which didn't touch that far north because you don't get that many rats and things
Right.
with fleas when it's like.
But it fucked up the
30
rest of the
degrees.
world, which I feel
Yeah.
stunted society even more, because people are stupid. And then,
Well, then when you get into, again, a religion that tells you to burn wise women and
Right.
you know, witches, even though, of course, we can then go into the debate of the fact that the actual translation from Hebrew says not to suffer evil or not to suffer chaos, but it got translated into witch.
Yeah.
Because people like King James like to make things an agenda.
right.
Dramatic.
Yeah. Modernization through the sense of societal norms. Where now, it's like, just from the 50s to now, it's not okay to fuck, which wasn't a thing back in the North. It's not okay to hate someone for how they look, whether it's different than you or too similar.
Right.
or they look more poor and you're more rich. That's not okay anymore.
Yeah.
And it wasn't back then either. It's just recently we've kind of forgotten our ways.
Again, I think it's the lack of the Norse society when it was Christianized or Christian.
Converted.
Thank you. Yeah, when after the conversion, I feel like because the Norse was kind of swept under the rug and everything else became Christian. That's what led to that, because that's totally something that came from the Christian societies, like 1300s.
Yeah. And there's nothing ever good about having one ideology take over everything.
Yeah.
Because then things always get warped and demented.
Well, and then no
You
one's
need
allowed to have their own
different stuff.
thoughts.
Yeah.
And
You have to have difference of opinions, and you have to have the ability to all come together and still make up laws and get things settled.
that's why we work so well.
Well, and, I mean, yeah, because back then, I mean, even throughout the different communities of the Old Norse, they all had their own set of beliefs. They may have been incredibly similar, but each one probably had their own version of what actually happened.
Between the people of the Rus, between the Germanic tribal people, just Sweden to Norway. Norway cared more about Frigg and Thor and Odin, whereas Sweden was more about Freya, Freyr, and Njord.
Yeah.
Same gods. They knew about Odin, they knew of Thor, of course, but they just had a different small sect of police. Or the Sami people up in the northern Norway and Finland. Totally different. Same gods, but totally different practices.
Yeah.
Super, still like nomadic people.
Yeah. And I mean, with that, even if we apply it to today, it's okay for us all to worship differently. This whole shitting on each other because you're doing it wrong, it's totally just bullshit. The way we worship any of the gods is vastly different from anyone else. Hell, we've got kindreds copying what we do because what we do makes sense to them. But it's one of those things where what Kansas City kindreds do is going to be completely different than what Arizona kindreds do, which is completely different from Nebraska or Oregon or Pennsylvania or anywhere.
Even just inside our kindred, I mean, you're going to have a different way to make offerings to one of the gods than what somebody else would have do. But we also talk to each other. We see what you like, and we piece together and change all the time.
Right.
Based on ideas that we pass along to each other.
And that's a perfect sense of modernization right there.
Yep.
Yeah, the ability, and that's another thing of modernizing, though, is taking the difference in beliefs and allowing that to make us prosper instead of infight.
Yeah.
Understanding that, yes, so many kindreds will practice different ways, but we have so many more resources nowadays. Nothing was written down in the Norse age.
Right.
Very little were things written down. It was just extremely important stuff put on stones. And then in the 1300s, monks started writing down the old stories that were still kept alive, which are probably like 10 to 17% of all of the stories that ever existed.
And I mean, even on that note, I feel like in a lot of communities, the Gothi would be like, okay guys, this is how we worship the gods. This is what we do. Whereas with our group, we've got us as Gothi and Githia. And we just tell everybody to do whatever the fuck they're going to do. And then on our big ceremonies for like our public stuff, we sit down and we're like, okay, this is what we think is best for this. And that's how we go. And everybody seems to be cool with it. And,
but now everyone's able to do their own research. We're all able to have different ideas to make this beautiful coercive.
Absolutely, yes. Cohesive.
Yeah.
Coercive is
Totally not
no.
cohesive at all.
But
I can pronounce Old Norse, not English.
Well, you said when you said that, I was like, wait.
Yeah.
He's gonna coerce me
No.
into doing something?
No,
my
no.
Old Norse is much better than my English, and English is my first language.
No, my brain was immediately like, that's cohesive. It's like, oh yeah, no.
Yeah, coercive is like sand.
No, coercive, because you combine cohesive and coarse, basically, and you turn it into coerce, basically.
I make my own words.
Yeah.
What's up, Shakespeare?
What are you doing?
Let's just be battery ass and call it corrosive.
Yes! We'll melt away your shitty opinions.
That burn feels so good.
Battery operated lanterns. They would
Yeah.
just
Oh,
let a
dude.
fire
Flashlights.
Yeah.
Yep.
cell phone.
And then looking at your pendants, so is one of them like a pewter or is it steel?
One's pewter.
Yeah, one's pewter and one is just regular metal.
Like a brass or bronze.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a good thing right there. Yes, they had brass, they had bronze, but like nickel, aluminum, pewter, they had those things, but not as easy to manufacture. Now you can pump out pewter amulets right and left. You go to Etsy, you go to
I was just about to say, I could go on Amazon right now
Right.
and get a duplicate.
Exactly. And these things are $5, $10 if it's more intricate, things like that. I mean, no one besides kings are gonna fucking wear a hammer this big back in the day. But again, because we modernized to the point where we all have jobs that give us money to do things, and that's okay.
We don't rely on trade or
Right.
bartering.
Bartering is still fine within the group or within things like that, but we now all have our own riches. It's not the town succeeds or fails, it's we as humans individually can succeed or fail. And if just you get a lot of people failing in one community, then the community, of course,
Fails.
goes to trash.
Well, and even like as a society, it's the modernization is so much better. I mean, you had your Jarl, and really he owned you.
Yeah.
I mean,
Even the freeman, like he still told you what to do.
right. Your crops, a good portion of each harvest is going to him. And he's gonna use it. He's gonna sell it. He doesn't have to lift a finger. It's his.
Yeah.
The money you get back from raiding. Most of the money made on raids was then given to the Jarl. Now, of course, if the Jarl didn't go with you on many of those raids, then he was seen as a coward, and you would challenge him to homegoing, and then you get to this repetitive story where the young, strive-fit person comes in, kills the old dude, which is just cyclical thing. Cyclical.
It's circular.
It repeats itself.
All right. Do we want to sum this up?
Sure.
Okay. So basically, in summary, modernization good, stagnation bad.
If you don't change and evolve, you die.
And with this community and how small it still technically is, we need all of y'all to keep this going. The momentum is growing, and we are becoming one of the more recognized religions out there. So, if we want to someday see, a Norse pagan or a pagan in general in the White House, we gotta keep going. So we gotta work together. We gotta grow together, and
Let's get that whole thing going.
yes, and we've just got to come together as a community, modernize our beliefs, not even necessarily be like, well, they said modernize, so now I can't believe in wearing Old Norse clothes, and that's not what we're saying. We're saying just grow, use what we have, and combine the two.
And if you're watching this video and you're not a heathen and you want to know more, feel free to shoot us a message or email us.
Follow us on Facebook or Instagram. Those links, I believe, are on our YouTube, but they are definitely in the description of this video down below. If you can't see it, click on the little dots. As always, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, comment. Dislike if you really hate this video. Everything. We want to know your opinions, because your opinions allow us to continue making better videos for you. Because we can sit and talk to a camera all day long. We just proved that. So,
make sure to join us every Monday at 5:45 for the next episode. Yay.
alright. Thank you guys for chilling with us tonight. And as we always say,
Thank you for drinking from the well.